So I want to let you guys know that from February 1st, 2024 to March 1st, 2024, there's going to be a deal on Amazon with a big discount on both the Tolifo 350 watt key light and then what I'm calling the hair light, the bounce light, whatever you want to call it, this RGB light. There's going to be a huge deal running on both of these between those two dates. Further, if you enter my code below, you can get an additional 15% off even on top of that promo that they're running. So again, February 1st to March 1st, check out the deal, use my code, get a huge discount, enjoy these lights. Right, so let's unbox these two lights from Tolifo. So we're gonna start with the smaller one. This is the 135 RGB version. LCD display, dual power supply, which is interesting. You can do battery or you can plug it in, which is nice. First thing we see here, some paperwork about the LED user guide. That's all it says. We got an accessories box. So it looks like this is the light itself. I'm not sure the best way to pull this out here. Hold on to the, that's all that's in the box, it seems. This looks like the light. We'll set it here for now and look at our accessories. Okay, so basically your plug into the wall and then your converter, whatever this thing is called, adapter as well. And I think that is it. Both of these lights do run off of an app, so that's super helpful. And I don't know if they come with a dedicated remote or not. Not seeing one for this guy. Wow, my first impression is this is very small. Wow, look at the size of this light. So small. I actually love that. On the back, you'll see you've got your input and then you have two slots for batteries as well, on and off. Sort of a menu button, scrolly wheel, and it also clicks in as well. Let's see if I can't. Usually there's a release. There it is. And there is the LED sort of layout there, if you all can see that, which is really nice. Wow, I'm just kind of amazed at how small this is. I don't understand the point of this little tag here, but it is what it is. Teeny. Look at that. I love it. You got a nice adapter here to put it on a C-stand, whatever you might want, and so for now, we will set the light itself aside and look at what we get here. So this is just sort of your normal, let's put that aside as well, sort of bright light option if you're not going to be using a softbox. If you want a more direct, harsh light, there is the light itself, which is really nice. Now we will move on to the big brother here. Sort of a different, I mean, same sort of packaging, but you don't have the graphics on the front and the sides. Inside the box, first thing I get to is power cable, which is a little bit heftier and bigger for this one. I'm assuming a lot of what goes on in here is done inside the body of this one in terms of the power. Little guide here, app control instruction as well. And then let's see if I can easily pull this out. Okay, that's all in that box. This one is quite a bit bigger as you can tell. Let's pull off this side of the packaging. Quite a bit heavier as well, but this will be sort of like your main light source, I would think, for a video, your key light. Whereas I feel like the smaller light could be a bounce light, it could be a light for behind you, it could be a hair light as well. I'm excited to sort of figure out how I'm going to use these lights in the studio. Right, so first thing you can see here, I guess, is you do have the ability to have the umbrella attachment here on the bottom of this guy. Let's go ahead and loosen the stand. On the back of the light, you've got your on-off, clickable, plus minus switch here, your fan speed. That's interesting. Never seen, or at least my newer light doesn't have a fan speed option. Bluetooth reset, FX, temperature. So there's that. Let's go ahead and, man, this guy's a beast. And there are your lights for this version. It does come with a kind of a shield for those LEDs there, which is interesting. We'll go ahead and get this out as well and pop this on and get the full sort of effect of how big this guy is. Now again, this is 350 B light is what it's called. And yeah, that's a big guy. It's about, I'd say about double the size of my current newer light, which I reviewed on the channel before. But here are the two lights side by side. Wow, that's really cool. That's awesome. So yeah, I'll definitely be playing around with how I want to set these up in studio. I think this definitely for my key light. I do still have my newer key light as well, so that could be my bounce light. I don't currently have a hair light with this setup, as you can see, and honestly, behind me here, this is literally just a lamp that I set here to shine up against the back wall here, the backdrop, and sort of just give me some separation from the background. So I could potentially use this in place of that, or I am super interested in having a hair light. It just gives that much more separation from the background. But I'm really just excited to get into these lights, test them out, and see what we can come up with. New video, new outfit, new backdrop, and another quick unboxing. The company also sent me a softbox and I think a handle. Let's just see, this might just be the softbox here. All right, so it's actually both. So first thing here is, if I can get it open, this is actually a handle for the small light. I guess in case you're doing any sort of like run and gun on the go, if you're out shooting maybe at nighttime or something, to be able to have the battery powered light on a handle. If you want to have effects where the lights are moving, you can kind of do that kind of maneuver as well. I will kind of get this set up with that in a second so you guys can see what that looks like. Put my knife away. The company also sent me this soft box for the lights as well. It is Tolifo branded, which is pretty neat. This one looks like a circular design. I'm not even really sure how does this, oh wow, you pull out each individual one like so. Interesting. So you can see here on the back, each sort of individual thing has a little tab that you push to sort of unlock these, or you just pull them out and pop them into place. I do like this design. To take apart my previous softbox, which I'm using right now, it takes a long time to sort of make it into a shape that is easy to be portable, if that makes sense. So there is the softbox kind of fully out here. It is a little bit smaller here, but that's okay. I'm probably gonna be using it as my bounce light kind of vibe. It does come with the, I don't know what this is called, egg carton grid something. This helps direct the light a little bit better. I do have one on my softbox up here, and then the actual and center cover of the light itself, just to get that nice diffusion with the Velcro around the inner lining here. Right, so here for me is the fun part. The other day when I first unboxed these lights, I played around with them for a few minutes after setting them up and just had the best time, because these two lights can change up the entire vibe of any video just by playing with color, with warmness, coolness, different brightness levels. And I will say, currently I'm shooting on my old light that I use, and this is actually full brightness of that light. That is a 60 watt light from Newer, and let me just say, I'm gonna switch out this light and I will show you the difference from the Newer 60 watt and the Tolifo 350 watt. Right, so I've got the color matched, everything like that on this light, and currently with the same sort of brightness level, I am at, oh, that's the one behind me. So currently with the same brightness level as the Newer was, I'm at 20% brightness. So just to give an idea, by the way, all of this is controlled through the app, which is super nice. They also both have buttons and screens on the light themselves, so you don't have to have the app, but it is really nice. Let's go ahead and just crank this all the way up and see how this looks. 50% brightness, 75% brightness. That is 100% brightness on the Tolifo 50 watt. You can tell, like, I am at 320 ISO. I am wide open at 2.8, 60 shutter speed. I'm running at 30 frames per second. And this is just way too bright. Like, I would basically need an ND filter to run this. As you can tell, like, my face is all blown out. So let's go ahead and get this back down to where I need it to be at 20% brightness. The thing with the key light, the 350 watt, is it only has like white levels. So I could go a little bit orange like that. I could go a little bit cooler. Well, that's like daylight, which is kind of as cool as you can really get with this kind of setup. I can go, oh, actually that's 6500. So this is a little bit cooler, like we're outside. This is more, not outside. what am I trying to say? More blue light, like that would come from your phones. This is obviously more so natural daylight is what I set my camera to at 5600 Kelvin. You can go really orange like we're sitting under a tungsten light. That's 2700 Kelvin. So really cool stuff here. Something else I'm gonna keep it at this yellow. I know it's probably kind of gross to look at, but the cool thing about these lights too is all the different effects. So this is candle. We've got explosion, which is wild, like explosions happening off in the distance over there. A campfire, which is pretty neat. Flame. I'm not really sure I understand flame. I don't know. The color's different. SOS signal. Paparazzi, right? Like I'm on the red carpet. A faulty bulb. This one's pretty interesting. Kind of like fluorescent bulb situation. TV, which just kind of like flickers in different, you know, weird patterns. Lightning, which is pretty cool too, like that. You can set the speed at which these things happen. You can set the intensity at which they happen. But I'm gonna go back just to our normal setup here. This stuff's really cool, especially if you're a filmmaker, right? If you're wanting to make videos to have effects, maybe you're trying to give off the idea that it's lightning outside, or that there are paparazzi, or you are by a campfire. Like, these are really cool options. They're baked right into the app themselves. But I had a lot of fun, honestly, with this little light back here. This is the 135 watt full RGB. And the effects on this guy are really fun to play with. So same thing here. I'm running at 3200K behind me to give a little bit more of an orange background. I can go a little bit whiter like that, and then I can actually match the same as the key light with that. Go a little bit more orange, all the way orange to 27. Currently this intensity here, I just have it shooting, if you can see, I just have it shooting against the back wall at 15%. Let's go ahead and raise that to 100, and you can see, like, wow, that's kind of super bright. It's funny, I've got the zebra lines on my camera so I can see when things are way blown out, and there's just like a perfect zebra circle all the way around me, which is funny. Let's come back down to, where was I? 15%. In fact, let's go up to like 25 because I want to get into the different colors of this guy. So I actually found the color that I use in my YouTube thumbnails and, you know, changed it from the hex code to RGB to put it here, or HSI, I guess it would be called here, hue, saturation, intensity. And this is the color of my channel. Obviously this back wall is gray, so it's a little bit darker, a little bit more saturated, but this is kind of the vibe of my thumbnails, and I've thought about potentially going with this color as my background to match the thumbnails. Let me know in the comments what you think has been best of all of this setup so far, and we'll work through some of these as well. So you can just do different colors, right? Like there's red, yellow, green, there's a light blue as well, dark blue, kind of magenta-y purple. You've also got just your little like slider here to pick whatever color you might want. There's also gels. And I don't know a ton about cinematography, things like that, but it looks like Lee and Roscoe, these are maybe people who are good at lighting feature films. I have no idea. But they've got these different 600 series, 700 series. They're basically like presets for gels that you would put over lights in movies. So looking through some of these gels, here's silver, full CT, platinum, urban sodium. We've got a 700 series, perfect lavender, lily, electric lilac, color correction, which is interesting, like adding a certain ND filter, yellow, flame green, cosmetic, silver rose, aqua blue, color filters, pink, yellow, Roscoe as well as another section of this, cyan, green, another green, blue, Cinelux, which is interesting, no color straw, pale gold, flame, golden amber. These are all really cool. Color corrections as well, Steraro collection, versus red or VS red, VS orange, VS green. But again, this is the cool part, these different effects. So here's pulse. Again, you can do lightning as well, which is a pretty cool setting there. Lightning somehow coming from behind me. TV, right? I don't know. A faulty bulb. So like, oh man, I shouldn't be playing these. If you have problems with this kind of stuff, I'm sorry. There's paparazzi, okay, which that's actually kind of a cool look, bouncing off the wall. It looks, well, I guess nothing's flashing on my face. SOS, flame, we've got fade, which is a pretty cool look. Here's campfire again. So if there is some kind of campfire going on behind me, I can actually turn down the intensity, I think, a little bit. That's a little better. Explosion. If the explosions were happening behind me. Candle. One of my favorites is cop car, right? So you can kind of like you could bounce this off the ceiling. In fact, let me just do it. Like I could bounce this off the ceiling and you get a really cool like cop car effect, right? A party is just kind of like running through all the colors. You can have an ambulance, which is nice. You can turn down that speed, right? Fire station, same thing. Turn up the speed there. That is wild and it looks really weird on camera. An RGB loop just runs through all the different colors as well. Right, so I did want to kind of point this out again. Here is the handle that they sent me. It's very basic. I'm sure you could pick up another one of these handles somewhere online, but the cool thing about this 135 watt is you can either run the power cable in or actually run with battery packs here. Two of them, 2 slots for that. So it can be fully handheld. As I mentioned before, you do have all of your settings right here you can play with, or again from the app entirely. I could definitely see an on-site shoot, something where you've got to be quick with movement and everything, or like, you know, I could literally see turning this on to like the police lights going off and have someone like run by the scene holding this or something where it gives the impression of a moving police car. I will say, if you listen carefully, it's not super loud, but you can definitely hear the fans in this guy, and I think because it's behind me, you might, I don't know, I'll have to check this footage after. You might not be able to hear it so much in the microphone while I'm doing these talking head videos, but this is the 135 version, and you can hear those fans. Not super loud, like I said, and I can't hear at all the 350 watt, probably because I'm only running at, you know, 20%. What did I say it was? Like something so low like that. So here is how that looks with the softbox. Again, this isn't super heavy. Like you could definitely have someone holding this kind of lighting setup for you out shooting on scene, on set, something like that, and hold it pretty steady as well. So there's the full sort of setup there with the softbox. Right, so you can tell like there's a lot that these lights do. You can have static setups like this. Obviously you might not have the colors changing behind you like I am right now, but there's a lot you can do. I literally have a key light right in front of me, kind of angled down, and then behind me facing, splashing up against the wall. I will tell you too that my little studio here is 1, in my basement, and 2, I've got literally just a piece of cabinetry wood on top of 2 like boxes of things. And I've got about, between my key light, my camera, and my back wall, there's probably like 8-10 feet. Like I'm not working with a lot here, but I'm able to get this clean, minimal studio setup mostly because of the lighting that I'm using. If I didn't have this nice, soft, white light shining down here on me and the table, and this sort of back wall that I can now change up the color if I want to, pick a color, play with different colors, like you can do a lot with these 2 lights. You can also set up these lights with a key light maybe off to the side, doing that 45-degree angle, which I've played with a lot. You could use this, what I'm calling hair light. It's not a hair light, but I've just labeled it that for whatever reason, as your bounce light. You could put it up on the ceiling and have it hitting your head as the hair light to sort of separate you from the background. You could do what I'm doing by just flashing it up against the back wall to add a pop of color, separation there. There's so much you can do with these lights. And I will say, I used the newer CB60, so 60 watt, for basically every video since maybe a year, 2 years ago. I was at my old job, so I guess it's been over 2 years at this point. But this light has been great, and there's a video you can watch here if you'd like to check out this light. I honestly would like a little bit more versatility and brightness, which these bring to the picture, and I think pricing wise they're very similar in price. So Yeah, I mean, this thing's done me well. I might set up a different configuration with this, maybe have a hair light or something, but honestly, I think you could get away with great videos with just these two lights, and I'm excited to see if you do end up purchasing these lights. I want to see what your setups are. I'm not really on social media, so I don't know how you'd send them to me, but maybe just tag me in one of your videos, something like that, so I can see your setups if you do end up using these lights. My final question here is, which color do you like behind me? It's kind of been running through. I could do that blue color, which is kind of this-ish color, which is similar to my thumbnails. I could just do a regular sort of off-white kind of deal. Let me come back over here. I could do this vibe, which is a little warmer behind me. I could match my key light, which is 5600 Kelvin, which just kind of gives a very minimal kind of look. I can change really anything. I could use one of these gels, one of these more tuned down gel kind of colors. I'm interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on what you think looks best behind me. And again, don't forget to pick up a highly discounted Tolifo 350 watt and 135 watt in the link down in the description between February 1st, February and March, and use my code that's also down in the description for 15% off any Tolifo product, I think from now until the end of time. It's truly a really good deal that they're running right now, and the value of these lights, I think they're actually worth the price. So the big key light is $379.99. The RGB one is $209.99. And again, they're gonna be highly discounted off of that price. I personally would pay, now that I've gotten to test these and play around with them and I see how well they fit into my studio and the way that I make videos, I personally would pay that price, that full price for both of these lights, because I think they're just going to improve the content here so much more for you guys. So again, check the links in the description. I think you're really going to enjoy these, playing around with them, and really just up your ability to make videos. Otherwise, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, watch this video. Subscribe if you're new. Like if you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.